Here. Chris Redman.
Here.
Grant Galloway here. John Hart. Here. That's all I have to call, correct? Is it? Sweet.
Open forum. Jim, we have, I believe we got a 5-minute timer. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Thank you.
I have some handouts. Got to give those to you, Chris, or about everyone? Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, sir.
This one. Did you need this one, Jim?
Hi, my name is Jim Dahlmeyer. I live at 452 Pintail Drive, Loveland, Ohio. I was talking tonight about the Phillips 5K. I wanted to introduce myself real quick because we have a new committee. Thank you guys for coming out and joining this. I appreciate it. It's helpful for the city. My background is about 9 years ago, I got involved with the Loveland High School cross-country teams. They didn't have a home race, so I started scouting around for a place to do that, and taught myself how to build trails and build a race for Loveland Cross Country, which is currently held at Home of the Brave Park. And it's been doing so well that we picked up the District Open. The District Open is at the end of the season, and it is for all non-varsity runners. It's just a great way to kick off the end of the season. And so we've been doing that for the last 3 years. And one of the things why I'm here tonight is I think I've been talking about this this opportunity for the last few meetings. I missed the last meeting when everyone got sworn in, but wanted to talk about expanding or not moving the race, but building a 5K race over at Loveland Phillips Park. That would help out with this district race, which is at the end of the season. And the Home of the Brave Park is a great park. It works out well for us, but the races that we do in October are at the end of the season, and it's on a Thursday night because districts for varsity are on Saturday. So coaches are focused on that race. All the parents volunteer. It takes 100 volunteers on when we do our invitational, which is on Labor Day weekend. So we were talking about moving that. If we were able to move that race, it would help out with a lot of things volunteer-wise, because Phillips Park is a little bit more manageable as far as parking goes. Lots are there, and then the overflow would be at the high school. We could also employ a traffic police officer from Loveland. We're having a hard time getting the sheriff's office to take a crosswalk position on Lebanon Road. And so it's not as safe for our people who park. They park across the street in the lacrosse lot and then walk across. So this would just kind of alleviate a lot of things for us. So if you want to go ahead and page through with me. So the need for a running trail is one that would support Loveland High School with a course. The second would be a safe place for Loveland residents to walk and run. And then a place to hold running or fundraisers that wouldn't be in the downtown historic, to alleviate parking. So this next page is the Southwest District Open, which is what I've mentioned. It is a race that's really been helpful for the high school, and this would alleviate a lot of stresses for our for the District Open. And this takes place at the end of October. And I've talked to Representative Lisa Kyle. I have his last name, but just to confirm that this is at the end of their schedule. So they are done with soccer, practically speaking, and this race would take place a week after that. I spoke with Kyle McLaughlin, and then Jessica Bungard was copied on some of our emails on our communication. And so as we go through, it would be great to have a course for running and walking through nature. And then the whole point of this course is to be a non-looping course, so it wouldn't turn back on itself. So if you're having a fundraiser, it kind of gets complicated if you have faster runners catching up to your walkers. And this would just be laid out as a 3.1 continuous line, and then so for fundraisers, it would be helpful to have that. And then you can see the course. The first map is the almost the distance, and you can see where I have planned. And I talked to Kyle about this because it cuts through the start and the finish are in both field A and B, and we also run through C. And he was asking if we could possibly run in between, and I did take a look at that, and that is a possibility with all of it except for A. I really do, for cross country purposes, we would need to have that start line because it's the start line is like boxes through. And then on the last page is the trails that are currently there and the trails that are are proposed, and then there are 2 bridges that are proposed. And the whole reason of me being here is to I've found we have a sponsor for our bridges, so they wouldn't cost the city any money. A local business, Time Savers, has offered to pay for these bridges, and so therefore it wouldn't be any out of pocket for the city. It would be all volunteers to build the bridges, and I just would looking to get a coordinated effort to maybe proceed with this plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Just out of curiosity, are you a coach at the high school? You said
I'm a volunteer.
volunteer. Awesome.
Yeah.
With the district open, I understand football and lacrosse and how all that works for the high school side of it, but with district, how many schools participate in that?
About 23 schools from the area.
And roughly, do you know on average how many athletes?
1,500 runners
1,500? Wow.
on average. Yeah.
And you did talk with the soccer association,
Yes.
and were you able to meet with the board and get approval from the
I've not gotten approval from their board, but Kyle has offered to let me speak to them about that, and to talk about all of the things. Mostly just to make sure I'm outside of their schedule. I don't want to have to ask them to take a half day to get this event done. So it looks like that fits. The turf is also another question, and I talked to Kyle about that openly because we've had no problems at Home of the Brave Park. We've been running these 2 races every year for 9 years, and there's never been a problem with the turf being destroyed or anything like that. Yeah.
I have just one last question. It's a covenant question. Dave, I'm going to kind of refer to you here a little bit. This shows trails through the Simpson Forest. The covenant, if I'm not mistaken, the covenant has some pretty strict guidelines about cutting trails into the Simpson Forest.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does. It has most of it has to do with. I don't have the actual wording. Jim probably knows it very well too. That was very restrictive. We were actually not even supposed to bring in gas-powered equipment.
Yeah,
I've heard a story about it.
Yeah.
Police being told on public works. I don't believe you're supposed to be necessarily forging new trails.
I just wanted to, just for this topic, the trails I wanted to forage, I believe, and we can talk about this on the map, is not technically in Simpson.
Okay.
There's a sewer line that runs through that creek. And so I'm pretty sure this was before the Simpson Forest.
Okay.
Because it goes straight from those 2 water tanks, and it goes underneath this creek.
Right.
And I can, we can look at where the sewer lids are.
Yeah.
But I believe that I'm not there's no new trails being built in Simpson.
I'm ultimately council should probably approve things that happen on their property. I've probably been a little loose with some of that, over time, trying to accommodate certain things. But I think I've known Jim since I've been here. Probably.
Yeah.
I got here at 14. But I think sometimes I have allowed things to sort of go off without necessarily always going through the proper channels. Obviously, it would start here. It would have to be obviously, Love and Youth Soccer Association is pretty key in all of this. a few years ago, we sort of got ourselves away from some of the other associations. Grant, you weren't here yet, and maybe even not Doug and Nolan, but we basically took a stand and sort of put all our eggs in the basket of our local organizations because they're stewards of the field. So with that, and they invest quite a bit of money in the field. So we've always tried to defer to them to a certain extent. And I don't know, but as far as Simpson Trail, you can utilize existing trails, but you really can't be cutting new trails. That's the key.
The only other question I would have is, have you spoken to the high school cross country program to see if this is something that they want?
Yes, I've spoken to Jason Bruce several times.
I'm talking about the actual cross country program.
The cross country board.
Cross country coaches at the high school.
Yes, I've talked to Coach Sears about that.
And he is in favor of moving this race.
Yes, I believe so.
I don't know if that's true.
I've not asked him straight up if he wants.
To be honest with you, I kind of have.
Oh, have you?
I work with him every day.
Okay.
So I've had the opportunity to talk to him, and he is very happy at Home of the Brave.
Is he with the open as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just full transparency.
Then I will. Yes, I have talked to him about it, but I thought he was for it. But I can take a step back if he is not.
I think that would be a question I would follow up with.
I'm sorry?
I think that would be a question I would follow up just to see if that's what they want.
Absolutely. Okay.
That's all
All right. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Okay. So, sorry. So, review and approval of the last meeting minutes. Motion.
Move to approve is written.
I'll second. We got to vote, right? All right. Nolan.
Say
Aye. Doug.
Aye.
Chris.
Aye.
Grant. Aye. John.
Yes.
Use. So, old business. We have the annual parks evaluation, and we have them here. I believe we got most of them completed. Yep, there we go. With the exception of, Nisbet Park and Phillips Park, because of the ongoing projects that have already, so we didn't do any reviews or evaluations with them. Thank you, sir. But other than that, I think we're good.
So I'll just follow up real quick on this. So, as for anyone that's newer to the board, what we'll do is staff's will compile this. I'll compile it basically into a spreadsheet, and similar to the CIP that you guys are now getting every meeting, it'll be the same situation where we put it on there and we've kind of put some notes to it if there's some outstanding exceptions or something that needs to be done. But then we'll track it and mark it when it's complete. And obviously, the goal is with these types of improvements that need to be made. The goal is to get these completed, obviously, by the end of the calendar year. Some of them, and we talked about this before, and I'm not sure, if they're on there, but like some of the things are gonna be the typical annual maintenance that we do, whether it be mulching or those kinds of things. But we'll go through them. Is there one thing that before Ms. Hamlin left the board, one good thing or one thing that she had talked about was if there was any outstanding safety items at any of the parks? Did anyone notice anything that needs to be brought to the forefront? Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have the ongoing CIP, capital improvement projects. Do we want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, just real quick. One of the, I guess, in reality, keep in mind these are CIP things. So these are things, that because we kind of started this a little bit after last year, it was after kind of we had our budget set in stone. Most of these things are things that are going to be, budget worthy. But we did accept quotes for the bathroom upgrades at Nisbet from C&M Woodcrafters, which is CJ Carr's company. I think Dave brought you up to speed last meeting a little bit about it, but essentially it's getting a full redo on the inside, on the interior. I think everything except for the floor, because the floor was done recently and in good shape. And then on the exterior, we'll be getting some hardy board and some stone veneer along the bottom, about 3 to 4 foot up. And that stone veneer is going to match the veneer that'll be on the facade of the amphitheater. So it'll look real good. Mr. Kennedy, do you know when he's scheduled to start?
Only thing we're trying to do is we're trying to match, find the right supplier for the stone that'll be on the wing wall, the seating wall. It's also in other places, and then it'll be a dark hardy plank from there up. And the other thing, that roof was part of a grant, so the roof's in pretty good shape. The skylights is in pretty good shape, but the toilets are, according to the mayor, there are prisons with better toilets, quote unquote. So all of that is getting gutted out, and it's such a hardy structure that putting the hardy plank is really going to make a difference on the appearance of it. And then when the amphitheater is done, there will be the walking trail will start from the current picnic shelter and we'll go all the way around the back of the amphitheater, which is really going to be cool because the river, the creek's going to be there. And then that's going to circle right back down to that whole patio area there too. So it's going to make it even more accessible, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah. And to just kind of play off of that, since we're talking about CIP, today we had, and this is on your agenda, but essentially it is old business. Today we did have the pre-construction meeting for Nisbet Park Amphitheater. They will be mobilizing next week. They're obviously going to start with the demolition of the old amphitheater and then move into the construction of the new amphitheater. We felt it was a good meeting. We feel pretty good about the direction. We had, some good conversations about a couple questions and some couple kind of what we call in the industry RFIs, so requests for information. So a little additional information they need to get it completed the way it needs to be. But once again, that substantial completion is October 31st, with final completion slated for November 30th. So, next year is going to be basically a full slate of concerts in that new facility. So it's exciting.
The only other item that was on the CIP, the only one item that was on the CIP that were the Lever Park. It just, the cost came in. So the cost came in 2.5 times what we put in the budget. So we have another contractor that will come and resurface the pickleball courts. But I don't know why this came in. It was ridiculous how the one guy, Temco.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So the goal is to have that done this year, though.
Yeah, the goal is to
so
have
that'll
it recoded.
That'll get done.
Yeah, recoded.
Yeah. But other than that, everything on the list is still in the hopper. Nothing pending on it. But we're tracking them, keeping our eyes peeled as far as if any grants or something come about. But I think what'll end up happening is we'll look at that list, prioritize it internally, and you'll see a couple of those potentially in the budget for next year.
Can I ask one quick follow-up question about the demo for Nisbet Park?
Yes.
What is the timeline? Did they give a timeline for the demo part of it?
Yeah, they're anticipating when they start demo 2 weeks.
Cleaned up and safe to have patrons around that area?
No,
What's that go?
That's going to be closed off, right? So, you're going to see construction fencing from approximately the corner of the bathrooms come all the way down to approximately the shelter. The playground will be accessible. A decent amount. Obviously, the gazebo is going to be accessible. All the seating areas will be accessible. A good portion of Nisbet will be accessible, but that will be off limits till for the duration of the project.
Is that construction fence going to be both to like the open area, but also behind
Yes, it is.
people come up? From that?
It is, and the behind fence likely is going to be potentially a little bit different. That may be closer to a snow fence ish because of the terrain there. We talked about that today actually, but yes, it will be. It essentially will be encompassed with fencing. So you will not. The goal is to not have anyone be able to get inside there. So
When they remove that fence, do they remove the honeysuckle with it?
We've been removed.
I don't know if you saw recently, but y'all, in all honesty, where the swings are going to be going.
Yeah.
Take a walk down there.
Get those
Man,
steps.
it looks awesome. I'll tell you, our Public Works and Jason Brock and his crew, they did some fantastic job. I mean, you know, you could always get down there, but now they put in some rock and some different things to be able to get down even easier. And I can't wait. The swings, they're coming, but the seats are being finished up right now. But that first one where that's going to sit, I mean, the view now is phenomenal. So you really need to check it out.
There's actual steps now.
But over there,
There's
I was
actual.
impressed at East Loveland Nature Preserve how that was all cleared out and you could walk right
Yeah.
there on Banyan Creek.
Yeah.
But
Everything that was
Yeah,
a
they're-
lot nicer.
They've been doing a lot of that clearing. It's, you know, they're doing a great job. Yeah, I mean, I think some of these areas look phenomenal.
they physically put in a set of steps from about where the swings are going down to the river, down that hill.
You guys are going to keep clearing past the Eagles there, right?
No,
That's for the Eagles, dude. They looking to sell?
All right, thank you.
Yes.
All right, that's good for old business. New business? Any new business?
the only new business was just going to be we're going to be getting ready to close on the Schuldemeyer property, and as you know, the city will be acquiring that property, and it is perpetual green space. I'm going to be working with the mayor to put together. Our plan is to put together a master plan of the Schuldemeyer property in conjunction with Veterans Memorial. So I want to work with the mayor to come up with a planning committee. We've sort of vetted a couple of firms, and this would be the start of what would be a complete and total redo of Veterans Memorial, and then a very natural, what they call passive redo of the Schuldemeyer property. And the sooner the better. We're just finalizing some details to go to the closing. The structure of the house will have to be removed relatively quickly, and then it'll be a clean slate. And if not a part of this is the best opportunity the Veterans Memorial has ever had. And, you know, a veterans walk and the things that would go because of what's funding the Schuldemeyer property. There are limitations, but there should be, because you're not building big structures in the middle of a floodway. So it is really going to be a cool series of walkways. I would envision like what you see in Devu Park, that sort of overlook. I mean, you talk about views. And so I would think I'll be working with the mayor, and we'll be trying to come up with a committee. We've done this, John. That's sort of how John got his start, is on a committee like this. So typically we would grab a couple veterans in that, and they would, let's just say it's Chris. He would make a report as he came back. It would be a standard agenda item, and we'd start showing you the renderings as this plan would get developed. And the Land Water Conservation Fund, that's the grant that got us the $500 for the NISBIT. They love this kind of stuff because of how the land was funded, how the acquisition was funded through Clean Ohio. Land Water Conservation loves those kind of projects. So you would really be able to sort of knock some of those out. And there are organizations that will fund veterans. Like if I'm just making this up, I have no concept whatsoever. But let's just say there are some life-size military statues. You've seen them, those really cool lifestyle. There are organizations that will help fund those specific items, not to mention people. And so it's not a project that will, once completed will be sitting on a shelf. It's really a cool opportunity. I was down there with the city engineer when we were taking photos that were required for the grant, and our city engineer, Kelsey, she goes, holy cow, if you did nothing but put some picnic tables down here, it's beautiful. And this is a direct contributor to the downtown district, right? You're just going to be able to walk right downtown. I think it's going to be an extension of what makes downtown so cool.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have this area. And I you can't say enough about the Schildemeyer family and what they did and the patience. They've waited for well over a year from when this concept was pitched to getting to the point where we're getting ready to close. Terry Schildemeyer and Larry could have said, no thanks, 18 times during this process. They're just wonderful. They have been absolutely wonderful. They truly wanted the city to get this. It was really more about them than it was about the city.
I have curiosity about this, like, and I don't even know how feasible it is, but it seems to me that there might be a possibility of a walking bridge over, because the view at that point is already obstructed by West Loveland.
Right.
So you're not changing the view, because I know that's part of the scenic river piece is the view. I'm wondering if it might be possible to navigate a pedestrian bridge between that Schildemeyer Park area and Nisbet Park area.
I was thinking the same thing. That'd be
How
awesome.
how long do you plan on living?
I mean,
No, I agree with you 100%. Dave and I agree 100%. It's difficult, but that's not to say we need to, during this process, I think we plant that seed, right?
Yeah.
So we plant it and we talk about it and we try to see what sticks, what kind of feedback. 100% agree.
I mean, I understand.
Could you imagine?
I understand the Conservancy is going to push back on that pretty hard, and I understand why. I completely understand why they would.
Right.
But I do think we're in an already obstructed view. I don't know that we're changing that much if we go that route. I'd just be interested to see if it's any possible.
Right.
I think what you do during that process, to your point, is you put stuff on paper, you show it on paper, and you see if we can get it to grow like
Momentum around it.
Yeah.
So
And-
I 100% agree.
And last thing, from a very positive park, this is my last comment of the evening, but from a very positive, from a very positive park standpoint, the Grailville Park at Claremont County is really gearing up, and the city is running the first phase of sidewalks from St. Columban to White Pillars, and phase 2 will actually extend and then go literally right into a trailhead within the Grailville Park, working with the county and using the county grant funding. So you're going to be able to come from all of those subdivisions on Lovell Mannyville Road that the city just connected. 2 schools are all going to someday be able to walk down 48, go into Conservancy and into Grailville Park. And it is Grailville is a good example of what you can do with land bought by Clean Ohio money. You can do stuff that you can't do anything. It's not true. As long as it's related to open space, you can do it. So I guess I'm done.
Give it a little bit.
I'm not going to say a word the rest of
So
the
that's part of that up on 48
Yeah.
White Pillars.
Yeah, all that space across there is all park space.
No, I think that's all exciting. I'm looking forward to it. So, all right. On communications, the annual litter cleanup.
Yeah, so the next 2 are just basically just giving everyone a reminder of this weekend, Saturday. This is put on essentially by the Tree and Environmental Community, but I consider you two, both committees, kind of hand in hand. So 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. is their annual litter cleanup. They're meeting down at the Little Miami Conservancy. We'll start from there. Show up anytime between 9 and 12. It doesn't matter. It's not like you have to be there at 9. And then after that, at noon at Nisbet Park, I know the mayor's going to be in attendance for an Arbor Day proclamation. They're going to be planting the city tree, the redbud, in Nisbet. I'm not sure exactly where, but I know somewhere in Nisbet. So just wanted to give you a reminder of that
And then you have a meeting date.
That's all Saturday.
That's on Saturday. Yes.
All right.
Then I guess question for you is, we'll take these. So, it's up to you all, but I would suggest maybe 2 months. I mean, we can go in a month. I don't care, but that'll give us some time to do some of these things, unless we want to meet sooner.
I'm okay with 2 months if everybody else is.
Good with 2 months.
Two.
Okay. Let's see here. That puts us in June. What is June 8th, Thursday? Is Thursdays okay? I mean, it's hard to tell 2 months out, but Thursday, June 18th at 6 p.m.
I will not be available that day. But
I will not either.
What? It looks like we don't have anything on Wednesday either. Does Wednesday work? Or is it that whole week?
Wednesday school.
I'm out of town that week.
That week?
Yes.
Okay. What about the June 25th? Thursday, June 25th.
probably do that.
Be out of town that week.
Are you ever in
Are
town?
you?
It's
what-
just some
what's going on?
Redmond's out of town from June 1st until
First one was
August
a
1st.
vacation. This is a volleyball tournament.
All right, so we can either do
Don't let me push.
That's what I was going to say. If we still have 4, that's no big deal. Or we can move up a week, June 11th,
About 11.
Thursday, June 11th.
Whatever.
Try Thursday, June 11th. Don't look at me like that.
I get back in town on the 10th. So,
What golf outing you got?
What's that?
What golf outing?
11th.
Whatever you guys want. I think Thursdays are good. I feel like we've been doing Thursdays, right,
I'm
Mr.
open.
Kennedy?
I'm flexible.
Yep.
So
I'm okay with Thursdays.
June 11th.
But yeah, I
June
should
11th.
6 p.m.
be able to make it.
June 11th, 6 p.m.
Sweet.
Okay.
One quick announcement before, well, actually not really an announcement, give some kudos here. My wife, who coaches, doesn't really coach, she stands in the dugout with my daughter's softball team, has been at Lever, and she said, even with the rain we got yesterday, that Lever Park, the fields they drained perfectly. They were playable when they got there. It was amazing.
that's awesome.
So the work that got done there has been great, and I also want to thank the folks that just do that. What is the name was it does the dragging the fields and stuff.
Rob does a lot of it.
I've seen a lot of the baseball fields and everything. They've been manicured incredibly well taken care of, and they were not really great when we got there. Obviously after the winter with the weeds and everything, and like they're in great shape. So they're doing great work. I appreciate it. And Chris got rid of the rocks on South Lebanon, which has nothing to do with parks, but I love.
Thank God.
Rocks.
It does look better.
It's a long story.
They got the mulch going down now, so it's looking better.
Is that our subject?
Motion to adjourn, right?
Anything else? All right, motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Aye. John Hart.